Hi, I'm Kiri. Sorry it's been so long, but hopefully this video will help you understand why that is. See, after releasing the Hexenhaus demo, I came up with a goal. I want to release a full, finished, polished game. I figured that if I made Hexenhaus in a month, and all that was really missing was art and maybe editing the script a little more, I should be able to make a full game in 3 to 4 months. Yeah, about that. So I tried to come up with a concept for a game that would have as small a scope as possible. I always end up way over-scoping, so if I start with something super restricted, it should help even once I start adding stuff to it. This is the framework I came up with. I would make a small dating sim with only one love interest that took place in just one room. That way I only have to design and draw sprites for one character and draw one background. That would have the added benefit of cutting down on my art time a lot, which tends to be the longest part of the process for me. I brainstormed several ideas for this one love interest, one room game. Maybe you romance a bartender while sitting at his bar, or it could be something where you romance a monster, since the games that come to mind in this format are A Date with Death and Sucker for Love. Those also take place mostly in one room and are wildly successful, so it's proof the format has potential. But the idea I landed on is turning another OnStars character into an OC. I wanted to make a dating sim about a cute nurse, so I came up with Nurse Chiyu. They take care of you after you get into an almost comedically horrible accident, tending to your every need. I figured the vulnerability of letting someone else take care of you would work well in a dating sim setting. And since you're stuck in bed while you heal from your injuries, it makes sense that you would spend the majority of the game in just one room. This was perfect. And I was endeared with Chiyu before I'd even properly designed him, so I knew this would be a project I was actually excited to work on. So now I just needed to start writing, right? Right? Well, I had a few ideas. If this is a game about a nurse, wouldn't it be super cute to have some mini-games where you have to control your heartbeat, since, you know, it's a dating sim and she's also taking your blood pressure. Then I could draw some cute CGs of Chiyu taking care of you in different ways, wrapping your bandages, checking your temperature, feeding you hospital jello, and the player would have to stay calm by winning the minigame. I was picturing something like Osu where you have to click the indicators before they disappear, but it wouldn't really be a rhythm game since I wasn't confident I could sync it to music in Ren'Py. I spent some time mocking up this minigame mechanic, and it felt good. It was simple, but something I could change up to increase the difficulty each time it appeared in the game. Like, maybe the timer could speed up, or there could be multiple dots on screen at the same time, or there could be other distractions to trip you up. I had a good feeling about this mechanic, so now I should write the game. Oh, but I think I want to make this a commercial project, but it's also my first full release, so I should make sure people have a low barrier to entry. So how about I plan to make the base game free and have a paid DLC? That's how Error 143 and A Date with Death do it. But when I tried to research how they did that, I could only find tutorials on how to install the DLC as a player, not any on how to create a DLC as a developer. So I basically figured it out from the ground up. I'll probably make a short video on that next, compiling everything I learned about this topic, because it sucks that I couldn't find a good resource on how to do it. It can be useful not just for paid DLC, but for any time you want to add something to a game after release. Okay, now I know how to set up my game to work with DLC once it releases, and in order to release it, I really should start writing it. Except, wouldn't it be cool if there was a personality mechanic? I was thinking, I really want the player's self-insert to feel customized to them. I thought it would be so cool if your player character's dialogue changed a bit depending on who was playing. In a dating sim, there are usually choices that increase or decrease the love interest's affection score, and that will be true here too, but in addition, I wanted to include some choices that don't affect your score, but instead modify your personality stats. So for example, let's say Chiyu is talking about their family. Chiyu says, "I have an older sister, she's a hairdresser. Actually, she's the one that cuts my hair." You won't actually get a menu choice, but based on your past choices, your dialogue will be different. If you've chosen mostly laid-back answers up until now, your response will be, "Really? It looks nice." But if your energetic stat is the highest, you might say, "It's so cute!" Or if you're a bit flustered around Chiyu, you could say, "Oh, she did a great job. I mean, it suits you." I thought this was a subtle but nice way to reinforce the player's choices. It lets them inform their character's personality and worldview. So now, with all these tools in hand, we can finally start writing the story of the game! But something wasn't right. It felt like every event in the game was crossing an item off a list. Things just happened to the player with no agency or goal of their own. The minigames were just sort of dropped in arbitrarily. Nothing flowed, and there was no reason to play. Like, yes, technically the goal of the game is to raise Chiyu's affection stat and ask him out. But why are you doing that? What's your motivation as a player? It's all so stilted. Disappointed, I set my planning document aside for a bit. I would take some time to think and come back to it later. In the meantime, what should I do? It's okay if I fall down the VTuber rabbit hole for a while, right? As you might know, I've liked VTubers for a long time. I want to be a VTuber myself, and I'm learning basic Live 2D so I can make myself a simple model soon. But despite being into VTubers for years, I've never really had a Kamiyoshi. I liked a lot of VTubers casually, but wasn't diehard for any one in particular. That is, until now. This is Zander Netherbrand.
Hey, listen. I want Cthulhu to think my brain is tasty. I want to get all up in Cthulhu's fussy.
Whoa, sorry, that was the wrong clip. Not sure how that got in here. Let's try that again. This is Zander Netherbrand.
Step 1, become a VTuber. Step 2, Yowie.
Oh my god, seriously? Zander, I'm trying to make a good first impression for you, just behave yourself. This is Zander-
Put you in the direction.
Okay, that's enough. If you've never heard of Zander or his agency First Stage Production, I highly recommend you check out all the members. These guys are hilarious, charismatic, talented, and surprisingly genuine. Zander in particular just draws me in. I've woken up an hour early just to tune into his streams. He's the first streamer I've ever donated to. And he's not just entertaining, but talented. While he does stream a lot of gaming content, he's also known for his writing and ASMR content. Me personally, I've never gotten the appeal of ASMR, but I watch his. It's embarrassing to admit. Zander creates these worlds and characters that are well thought out and immersive. The soundscapes are beautifully crafted. The dialogue feels like something straight out of a visual novel. Wait a second. Yeah, I decided to make a fan game for Zander. Not like how Hexenhaus was loosely inspired by OnStars, a proper fan game this time. Still, I'm writing it in such a way that you'll hopefully be able to play and enjoy it even if you don't know Zander. Just like his ASMR videos, this will be a character that happens to look like Zander but isn't exactly Zander. Think of it as an alternate universe. In his ASMR, Zander has played plenty of fantastical creatures, from a siren to a dragon to a naga, so how about an Eldritch god? I'm picturing a game that takes place mainly in an ancient summoning room, where you call upon a god who promises to grant your greatest wish, for a price. You can romance the monster, of course, but it's not strictly a dating sim. After all, not everyone's wish is to be loved. There are many ways to play, and Zander will push your buttons and help you explore why you want what you want. It's a way to explore your personality and worldview. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? I also thought it would be interesting if some choices don't affect whether you get a good end or bad end, but instead affect the way your character will react later. Are you bold and arrogant or meek and nervous? Oh, it's like that personality mechanic I was talking about for Chiyu, just on a smaller scale. Actually, can we bring in that framework I came up with? The one I wrote up for how to keep my scope small and make sure I can actually finish a game? Yeah, there's an option for romance, there's one love interest, main character, whatever you want to call him. I do have a minor side character I'd like to include too, but he would just help the world feel more grounded, and he wouldn't have too many sprites. And there's also a hallway background leading into the summoning room, but once you get inside, that's where most of the action takes place. So, I think I did it. So that's why it's taken me so long to get back to you guys. I was flip-flopping between projects and hyperfixations, and I also just felt bad for not having any nice artwork to show since I was still in the writing and planning stages. I stand by programming and writing before making art, since art is a time sink that might not pay off, but it does make it hard for me to create interesting devlogs sometimes. I'll try to make videos more regularly though, even if it's about concepts I might not move forward with. I get new game and character ideas constantly, and I usually have enough thoughts about them to fill a 10-minute video anyways. I'll definitely share more about this fan game too. I'm feeling really good about the story, especially compared to when I was writing Nurse Chiyu's game, so I have high hopes for it. I'm also learning a few new runtime programming things for it, nothing too intensive, I swear, that I'd like to go over next time. For now though, that's about it. Thank you so much for your patience while I figured things out. If you'd like to see more of me in between videos, I'm also streaming games and art on Twitch. I hope to see you there. This is kirigaya.pnk, shutting down.